Okay, so beautiful people, now we are moving on to indigenous games in South Africa. Okay, so what I have over here is Ukugenda. Okay, it's played using stones. Okay, so I'm going to ask my guests to try and say the word the word after me. Ukugenda.
Ukugenda.
Yes, okay, well done. So this is Ukugenda. It's one of the games that is played in South Africa. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is Ingatu. Ingatu. Okay, this game is played using a rope, as you can see over here. Okay. Okay, also a game played in South Africa, similar to skipping, but a little different. I'll tell you why later. Okay, and now we have, okay, I don't know how I'm going to show this one. Okay, so our next game is Moraba Raba, alright? So this game is actually similar to chess, interesting enough. And it is basically played using bottle caps or stones, right? So another very, very interesting thing about all these games that I have introduced to you today is all of them you basically used recyclable material, all right? So this is Moraba Raba, similar to chess. I'll get into detail later about how it's played. Okay, the last one. Okay, so the last one, I recently learned how to play this one. That's how I actually love it. Okay, so this one is called 3 tin. Okay, it is played using tins. Okay, so basically after cooking or after buying whatever it is that's in the tin, you use the tins, 3 of them. These 2 are the same length, and then you need a slightly smaller one. Okay, another very, very interesting thing is that you don't have to go out and buy a ball. You can actually just make your own ball at home. Alright, so this is 3 tin. Okay, so those. Okay, so these are the games that I'm going to introduce to you today, and we'll go over how they're actually played. Right, stay tuned.
Okay, so hello everyone, I'm back, and today we have a totally different topic, all right? So today we are basically going to look at indigenous games in South Africa. Okay, indigenous games in South Africa, right? So something very, very interesting about these games is all of these games are actually used using recyclable material, all right? So let's start. So our first game is called Ukugenda, all right? Ukugenda. Okay, so this is basically a game played by 2 or more players using 10 stones, all right? And so stones here are placed in a circle or in a square, all right? And each player tries to grab the stones, the most stones from the circle or the square. Okay, and so basically what the players need to do is they throw a stone in the air using one hand, all right? And then whilst they're doing that, they have to take out the stones and put the stones back, leaving one out depending on the level that they are on. Okay, so let me say it again, all right? So the player will throw a stone in the air, all right, taking stones out and putting back into the circle. And whilst you're doing that, if you're on level 1, it means that you have to leave 1 stone out. If you're on level 2, it means that you need to leave 2 stones out, right? So you move from one level to the next. If you drop the stone, okay, it means that you're out, and then your other player gets a chance to play. Right. Okay, let's move on to, it's a very, very complicated game, right? I'll demonstrate later how it's played.
Okay, so our next game is Moraba Raba, right? Moraba Raba. Okay, so this game is actually similar to chess, right? Why? The reason for that is because we have a chessboard for this game, right? And we play this game using bottle caps or stones. Lines are drawn on the ground, alright, or actually draw the lines on a board. And then stones or bottle caps are actually used too as movable pieces to play the game. The next game is 3 tin. Alright? So this game is basically played using 3 tins. Okay. As you can see over here. So 3 tins are actually placed on top of each other. Okay, so you have to find 3 tins. You have to place them on top of each other. And the first player must attempt to knock these tins over, right? Using a ball, right? So another interesting thing is that with this game, it's also recyclable material. Okay, so the player throws the ball from outside, so there are marked lines, and that person has to try and hit the tins from that line. Okay. If the player is successful, they run out and they have to try and rebuild the tins. Okay, so we'll just say the tins are like a building. So they have to try and put them together, alright? And when they are done, they have to draw a square around the tins, and then they have to hop 3 times. You won't be able to see this, but I'll just do it anyway, alright? They have to hop 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then okay, our next game. Okay, so this game is I-2. I-2. So we play this game using a rope, it's a skipping rope. Alright. So 2 players hold the skipping rope on the both ends, and then you have one person in the middle that's busy, the third person in the middle. Okay, so they skip in different styles whilst the others chant and sing. Okay, so it's not as easy as it sounds, right? So this is I-2. I-2. Okay, so those are basically all our games, and I just took you through how the games are played. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to demonstrate how Ukugenda is played. Alright, and the reason for that is because it's a slightly difficult game. Alright, I actually have to show it to you guys, and so you guys can see how it's played. Then maybe you can try and attempt to play it this manner. Okay, so what you do is you have to draw the circle right on the ground. That's how they used to do it. So you draw your circle, make sure that it is like very, very like visible. Okay, so we have a circle, and then very, very important, we need 10 stones. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then the 11th one is basically your main stone, the one that you will be using to throw up in the air. So we are on level 1. So what does that mean? It means that we are going to take out stones, alright? And then we have to make sure that we leave 1 stone out because we are on level 1. Let's try. Yay!
Yes, you did it.
Yeah, I did it. Okay, so we're on level 1, you leave 1 stone out. And then you do the same up until you get to the 10th level. If you do, that makes you a winner. Okay, so another very, very important thing is if you throw the stone in the air and it falls, okay, so automatically you're out of the game. That means that the next player has to try now and get to the 10th level, right? And if, for example, my stone fell at level 1, so if I try again on the next round, I'll continue from the level that I left off. Okay, so it's very, very important to remember your level. Okay, so that's just how Ukugenda is played. Okay, so I get 3 attempts to knock the tins over. Failure to do so means I'm out of the game. Okay, so let's have a look here. Okay, strike 1. Strike 2. Okay, it's a bit of a struggle. And strike 3. Okay, so over here I'd be out of the game. Let's see if I do knock the tins over. Okay, so strike 1 and all of them are over. So now I need to try and put the tins back together. Okay, and I need to prevent myself from getting hit by the ball. So the girls need to try and get me out of the game.
okay, by hitting me with the ball. So the trick is only the person that's after me can hit me with the ball. So if the other person hits me, then I'm not out of the game. Okay, so what I need to make sure is that I put them back together, and I need to hop 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then knock them over. So I have 1 point. So now I'm going for my second point. So let's see if I can get the second. Okay, so over here I'm putting back the tins back together. Unfortunately, I don't make my second points because I get hit.